Today's video is about a group who was steeped in gospel tradition, like many R&B groups. This group topped the R&B charts 11 times between the years of 1966 through 1972. This legendary group developed into one of Motown's most dependable acts. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Gladys Knight and the Pips. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. This story begins in Atlanta, Georgia in 1952 with Gladys Knight, her brother Merrill Bubba, her sister Brenda, and cousins Eleanor and William Guest formed their first vocal group calling themselves the Pips, after their cousin James Pip Woods. The group sang supper club material from Monday through Saturday and gospel music on Sunday. Their first record was recorded for Buddah Records in 1958, releasing the single Whistle My Love. There's nothing in the world that I would do for you. Another cousin of the Knights, Edward Patton, along with Langston George, was brought into the group the following year when Brenda and Eleanor left. 3 years has passed before the group's next session, which produced a version of Johnny Otis' hit Every Beat of My Heart for the small label named Untold Records. Toast of wine. There's a Now this song highlighted Knight's bluesy compelling vocals, and the song was licensed to VJ Records when it began attracting national attention and went to the top of the R&B Billboard charts. And the song reached the pop top 10. Now by this time, the group that was now credited as Gladys Knight and the Pips had signed a long-term recording contract with Furry Records, where they issued a re-recording of Every Beat of My Heart. Other singles followed, such as Letter Full of Tears, Wait a minute, let me look inside. No, it couldn't. And Operator. To see if you can get him to talk to me. Oh. Now these singles sealed the group's R&B credentials. A switch in 1964 to the Max label, where they worked with producer Van McCoy. They generated minor hits such as Giving Up, Really Love Someone, Giving Up, and Lovers Always Forgive. For someone new, now that Langston George retired from the group in 1962, which left us with the legendary quartet lineup that was strong and survived throughout the 80s. In 1966, Gladys Knight and the Pips signed with Motown's subsidiary label, Soul Records, where they teamed up with the legendary producer and songwriter Norman Whitfield. Knight's tough vocals distinguished them from Motown's pop soul roster. Between 1967 and 1968, they had major R&B and minor pop hits in the US with Everybody Needs Love, Let Me Love You, Say You Want Someone to Trust, The End of the Road, Stand like a kid behind the wheel, You've been reckless with my heart. It Should Have Been Me. He turned to me and gave me a smile. Then and I Wish It Would Rain. It's filled with gloom. So day
yesterday, I stay locked up in my.
But they enjoyed most success with the original release of I Heard It Through the Grapevine. An unsurprising muscular performance of that song in 1969 became a Motown standard when it reached the hands of its author, Marvin Gaye. Gladys Knight and the Pips version topped the R&B charts for 6 weeks, and at the end of 1967, it had also reached to number 2 on the pop charts. The group enjoyed further R&B and pop hits by the end of the decade with Didn't You Know?
Yeah, you're all hung up on somebody else and in your
The Nitty Gritty.
Do the real nitty gritty now. Let's get right on down to the nitty.
Friendship Train.
Looks like them counties on the even distraction. Boy, you see, people
And You Need to Love Like I Do.
away was handsome and nice, but I took her advice and passed them by.
While the poignant If I Were Your Woman was one of the label's biggest selling releases of 1970, and provided the group with its third R&B chart topper.
And I'd call you back for more if I were your woman. You were my woman. If I were your.
In early 1970, the Knights and the Pips slowly moved away from their original blues-influenced sound into a more middle-of-the-road harmony blend. Their new approach brought them success in 1973 with the smash hit Neither of Us, which went number 1 on the R&B charts, number 2 on the pop charts, and won them a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or a Group with Vocals. While further hits during this period included I Don't Want to Do Wrong,
That it's real, oh yes it is. It's out of my.
Make Me the Woman That You Go Home To,
You said I was your strength, the air you breathe. So help me higher
Help Me Make It Through the Night,
by my side.
and Daddy Could Swear I Declare.
In the backyard, just a digging and a painting away.
In late 1973, Gladys Knight and the Pips elected to leave Motown for Buddah Records, with them being unhappy with the label's shift of operations going from Detroit to Los Angeles. Now with Buddah, the group quickly found success with the song Where Peaceful Waters Flows,
That your lips seems hollow.
and Midnight Train to Georgia.
Not so long ago.
An arresting soul ballad that topped the R&B and pop charts and won them a second Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or a Group with Vocals. The group's next major hits was I've Got to Use My Imagination,
Keep it on. Keep on. Got to make the best of.
and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me.
I guess you could say that I.
Both was R&B chart toppers and a pop top 5 hit. In 1974, the group performed on the Curtis Mayfield produced soundtrack of the movie Claudine, spawning a major hit with On and On.
And for me, you build me up with so much affection.
That following year, the title track of the song, I Feel a Song, gave them another number 1 R&B hit.
For you, but I found a reason for living.
The group's smoother approach was emphasized by the medley of the song The Way We Were, Try to Remember.
Oh, why does it seem that the past is always better? We look back and we think the winters were warm.
That was released in 1975. Later on that year, the group hosted their own US television series. Gladys Knight made her acting debut in the movie Pipe Dreams in 1976, for which the group recorded a soundtrack album. Legal problems then dogged their career until the end of the decade, forcing Knight and the Pips to record separately until they could sign a new recording contract. Knight enjoyed minor R&B hits at the end of the decade with the solo singles I'm Coming Home Again
and I can't remember why I went away.
and Am I Too Late?
I hope it's not too late.
During this period, Knight released her first solo albums with Miss Gladys Knight and her self-entitled album. About Love in 1980 teamed a reunited group with the Ashford and Simpson writing production partnership that resulted in stride pieces of R&B social commentary and the songs Landlord and Burgie Burgie. More hits followed, such as the R&B chart topper Save the Overtime and You're Number One in My Book.
Won't you share what's on your mind?
In 1985, Knight appeared on the chart topping and the Grammy-winning pop hit That's What Friends Are For, alongside Elton John, Donnie Warwick, and Stevie Wonder. After a move to MCA Records in 1986, Love Overboard demonstrated that Gladys Knight and the Pips could work equally well in both R&B and pop genres, taking the group back to the top of the R&B charts and into the top 20 of the pop charts by the end of 1987. The latter song earned them a Grammy Award for the Best R&B Performance in early 1989. That same year, the group enjoyed two final R&B hits with Lovin' on Next to Nothing and It's Gonna Take All of Our Love.
Everything looks so calm and at ease.
In 1989, Gladys Knight and the Pips parted following a company tour. Merrill remained with his sister when she achieved a UK top 10 hit that year with the James Bond movie song License to Kill. Knight's third and fourth albums, Good Woman and Just For You, followed respectively in 1991 and 1994. The song topped the R&B charts, which peaked at number 6, also going gold. Knight scored her last top 10 R&B hit in 1996 with the song Missing You that was a collaboration with Shaka Khan, Brandy, and Tamina that was recorded for the soundtrack of the movie Set It Off. The same year, she and the Pips was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Eleanor Guest passed away of heart failure the following year. In 2001, Knight's sixth solo album, At Last, made her a solo Grammy winner when it won the award for Best Traditional R&B Vocals. In 2004, Knight won a Grammy in the category of Best Gospel Performance with the Ray Charles collaboration Heaven Help Us All. Later that year, Edward Patton passed away from diabetic complications. During the period of time, Knight bounced from gospel to R&B and temporarily changed the course in 2006 with Before Me that was a set of jazz standards. That next year, Langston George sadly passed away of heart failure. Knight resumed performing. That included a tour intended to be her UK farewell tour in 2009. Knight continued to perform. That included a tour that was intended to be her UK farewell tour in 2009. She also released more gospel albums, such as Another Journey and a top 10 gospel LP, Where My Heart Belongs. William Guest passed away of a heart failure in 2015. Now, to this day, Knight is continuing to perform, including extensive touring dates across the UK. Now, before we go, I have a few questions for you all. What is your favorite song from Gladys Knight. Also, what is your favorite song from the Pips?